Hello, Point Park Pioneer fans. We're here with Director of Athletics Dan Swalga, who will start his 7th year here with the Pioneers. We're here to talk today about new conference affiliation, specifically the KIAC, Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, which Point Park is now a member of. Our league, the American Middies Conference, members since 1998-99. That league officially disbanded July 1st, 2012. So it's now time to move on to the KIAC. Dan, first, welcome, and talk a little bit about the importance of conference affiliation within the NAIA and what the KIAC is providing for Point Park in that regard.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. I'm very excited about being affiliated with the new conference. It actually provides two things for schools. One is that because you're affiliated with a conference, your scheduling becomes easier. Each one of our sports has to play the other schools in the conference, and two, it provides a clear path to postseason play. Our 11 sports, 10 of those sports in the KIAC will have automatic bids in the conference, which means that the path is we win the conference and we get to go to the national tournament in 10 out of 11 of our sports.
And of course, that's what it's all about. We didn't have that in the AMC the last few years with the dwindling membership. For those who might not know, Dan, the AMC disbanded because of several years of migration of schools to NCAA D2, D3, and other NAIA conferences. You could probably say that Point Park didn't leave the AMC as much as the AMC left us. Would you agree with that?
I exactly agree with that. When I got there, and I hope it's not because of me, but when I got to the AMC, there were 20 members, and each year, one or two would migrate away. And so the big hit came when 5 or 6 schools in the middle of Ohio decided to pursue Division II, and at that point, the schools that were left were scrambling in order to either stay in the NAIA, join another conference, or else consider Division II or Division III.
With that AMC membership dwindling down over the last 4 years or so, when did it become apparent that Point Park needed to search for a new conference affiliation, and what was the process like in getting accepted into the KIAC?
Well, the day that the 6 schools, Walsh, Malone, Notre Dame, Ursuline, Mount Vernon, and Cedarville, decided that they were trying to band together and go to Division II. That was the beginning of the end for the conference. And as I said earlier, everyone else had to start thinking about their future. The first thought was that we were still left with our New York schools, which were Damon, Roberts, Carlo, of course, in Pittsburgh, and then Houghton. And so we were talking about trying to affiliate as a group with another NAIA conference, but that ended up being a little bit difficult for us because the schools that we were talking about were in Maine, which made the travel like 1,000 miles away, and so we were a little hesitant with that, and it also made us consider Division II as a possibility.
And then you arrived at the KIAC through some contact with that league. And how did that go about contacting the commissioner? And then eventually you got in and approved by all the ADs and presidents and so forth.
Well, the other thought and the other process for us was to look around for NAIA conferences. So simply just made a call to their commissioner. I was happy to hear that they were very interested. We kind of considered us and Carlo as a package deal, being that we're both from Pittsburgh, and that commissioner was interested. We went to a meeting, introductory meeting, and met the other athletic directors, made a formal application. That process happened very quickly, honestly. It only took 3 months. They voted us in, and at that point we were able to schedule a complete schedule in all of our sports for the 12-13 year. So.
Now, when fans hear the word Kentucky in the name of the conference, they may think, "Wow, that's far away." But why would Point Park join a league so far away? The reality is there was some travel in the AMC, maybe not as much as will be in the KIAC. But how will travel be alleviated in the KIAC so as to best work with student athlete classes and not missing time there and stuff like that?
Yeah, it will be a little more travel, but remember we did go to Rochester, which was a 5-hour drive, and we were in Shawnee and Rio Grande, and the schools in Ohio were all 3 hours and further. So we're used to it. It does extend it a little bit, but every member of the KIC has been very sensitive to missed class time, and also trying to group games together, especially with us and Carlo going together basically. And so most of our games that we're playing in the conference where we're traveling will be on the weekends. One of the benefits of Point Park is we have very, very few Friday classes, so we're able to make that trip on a Friday, play a couple games down in Kentucky, make our way back here on Sunday, and avoid missing class as much as possible. So.
Now, Point Park has always been NAIA for our entire 45 years of athletics and will continue its NAIA membership with the KIAC in the future. What is it about the NAIA that makes it a great fit for Point Park, and how great is it to continue that relationship?
Well, I'm similar to you. I mean, my experience was with the NCAA before I got here, and when I got here and I started getting a sense of what the NAIA is all about, I was very impressed with the Champions of Character. I've been impressed, as you have this past year, with the championship games or the championship tournaments that we were able to get to with volleyball, baseball, and women's basketball. They were done very well. It's a professional organization. They support their members very well. So in that sense, administrative sense, it's been good for us. And the NAIA has, their rules are such that it really gives kids chances to play, and that provides a niche that I think is necessary out there, especially with transfers.
And for small college athletics to be able to give athletic scholarship, that doesn't hurt either.
Right. Again, we have flexibility there. We're able to leverage that and get some pretty good athletes here, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. And finally, for fans who may not know, what is the makeup of the KIAC? Is it a lot of schools similar to Point Park in terms of size, athletic tradition, athletic stature? I know that they have their fair share of teams that compete nationally.
And actually, we're going to be one of the larger schools in terms of enrollment. Most of the schools are private and smaller. The Kentucky schools, I think, are all private. There are 2 state schools from Indiana, Indiana University East and Indiana University Southeast. Those, I think, are a little bit bigger than us, and of course their tuition is much smaller. But in essence, the schools are there's a mixture of private and a couple publics in there, and so it's kind of like an eclectic group. But I think it's a pretty strong group, and I believe in the commissioner as he is trying to expand. I know that they're in contact with a number of schools who could be possible new members.
Okay, very good. That concludes this interview with Point Park Director of Athletics, Dan Swalga. I want to thank you for taking the time today to talk about the KIAC, and we look forward to many years of strong NAIA competition within that league. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, and as always, a job well done. Thank you.